guys, long time no see. I know I've promised this Divergent review for a pretty long time now since my last video, and the reason I haven't filmed it is because I had my sister's graduation, I had finals, I finished my sophomore year of college, but I have a little bit of downtime, so I thought that I would do my Divergent by Veronica Roth review. Now, I'm pretty sure most of you have seen a review or read Divergent by Veronica Roth. This book was published May 3rd, 2011. It is a young adult dystopian novel based in dystopian Chicago sometime in the future that I do not know what year it is, but it is in the future. But while you're reading, you can see all of the little aspects of Chicago, so the city is not completely gone, therefore I do not think it is too far away. And it is also book 1 of 3 of the Divergent trilogy. In this dystopian Chicago, there are 5 factions. Dauntless for the brave, erudite for the intelligent, candor for truth, amity for the peaceful, and abnegation for the selfless. Now, when people turn 16 in this dystopian Chicago, they are faced with a choice. They go through an aptitude test which tells people which faction they should be in. Should they stay behind in the faction that they were born into and stay with their families, or do they decide to leave their families in their faction for a different one that they think they may belong to? The story takes place where Beatrice Pryor, she turns 16 and she gets to take the aptitude test with her brother Caleb, and she has results that are inconclusive, which means that you are divergent, which means that you need to keep that on the down low. It technically means that you do not just belong to one faction, you belong to 2 or 3 or 4 factions, and that is not allowed. So then it goes to the choosing ceremony where the people get to choose which faction they want to be in. So the thing about choosing a new faction, or even staying into the faction that you were born into, you have to go through an initiation. And if you don't go through this initiation, or if you don't complete the initiation steps, if you just don't make it through initiation, you become factionless, which means that you are a faceless member of society. You do not have a faction, you do not have a family, you are homeless, and that sucks. Basically, if you don't make it through initiation, you are without an identity, and abnegation usually takes care of those people because they volunteer and they are selfless, but at the same time, you don't have the benefits of being any part of society whatsoever. So the story is a first person based around Beatrice, but she changes her name to Triss after her choosing ceremony, and she is born into abnegation with her brother Caleb and her mother and father. So about the book itself, I really enjoyed the book. It was very fun to read. It was like one big training montage because of the initiation process and all of the things that Triss had to go through and learn. I loved the character development. The character development was very good. You see Triss from one faction to another. You see her make friends. Christina, Will, Al was a really cool character. You learn about her family a little bit more, and you also meet the character 4, which I really enjoyed. Everyone that knows about Divergent and has read Divergent is completely in love with the character 4, and I, for one, am one of them. Everyone in the Fortress fandom, yes. So in this book, a lot of the book is fighting. They learn how to fight, they learn how to shoot guns, they throw knives, they are completely reckless, they jump trains, they play games, they eat cake, and Triss has never done that before. She's never tasted anything but bland food. She's never tasted a cheeseburger before, and you get to learn all about that in this book and how she develops as a character through that. There's a lot of things in the book that have you on the edge of your seat. Now, the read was really good, very fast-paced. It's a little bit misleading because the book is pretty thick, but the pages, the font is pretty big, and the way it's formatted, you actually get to... I read this book in less than a day, so I bought it, I read it all day, and I finished it that night, and that's how fast of a read it was for me because it was so fast-paced. You weren't left wondering, there were no really slow paces, and though a lot of questions weren't answered that readers have while reading this book, it was a very good read. So the book was action-packed, and there is a little bit of romance in this story, which I enjoyed because I am a sucker for a good romance, but it is not overwhelming, which I enjoyed just as much as any of the people that have read Divergent did. It's not overbearing. Triss goes through a lot of things in this book, and it's not like Veronica Roth was like, stop everything, let me make out with this guy. It was, I can't do this right now. I can't think about this right now. I have to think about my survival, whether or not I am in love with this person or not. And I liked that because it wasn't overdone and it was very realistic, and it wasn't just like, boom, we like each other. It was a good representation of how, teenagers actually start liking each other, and I enjoyed that. Also, the friendships that Triss had in this book were realistic as well. I liked the characters. I really enjoyed her friends and how they developed. So the only cons for me was, even though this was a great read and I loved the characters, the pacing, and the plot, it was a little bit hard to connect with Triss sometimes. Sometimes it just seemed like the first person was detached and it was a little bit, I did this and then we went there, but it wasn't so overwhelming that I had to roll my eyes and just put the book down. I kept going, and it was very good that I did because I really, really enjoyed it. That was the only con for me, other than the political side of it and also how the dystopian world wasn't really talked about much. When she went to faction history, you didn't really learn about the factions, you just learned about what they did and how they were, but not on a scale that answered any of my questions. Just a lot of the dystopian novels, they talk about how the dystopian city or country came to be, and Veronica Roth didn't really explain that, which kind of bothered me because I wanted to know how people decided that it was a good idea just to stay in these factions, and how you can just take a person and just say, hey, you are only allowed to be this one trait, and everyone was like, okay, let's just be this. It was kind of talked about how each faction decided to be this faction because of how they thought the world ended with. Like, if abnegation was selfless, they thought that the world destructed because it was being too selfish, and that makes kind of some sense, but I didn't really see it in the book itself. So those were my only cons. Other than that, it was a great read, and I give it 4 out of 5 stars, which is a pretty good rating for me because 5-star book is very hard to come by for me, and it has to have absolutely no cons, and that is like impossible because I pick at everything, and I sit there and I read and I make notes, and if I make just a few cons, it's not going to be 5 stars. Also, don't forget, if you haven't read or need to or are reading, make sure you finish reading and then participate in my book club video, which will be after this is up. I've devised questions, and you guys can make video responses and or comment below. Talk about anything you want, except for this video is pretty much spoiler free, so make sure you get on that because I would like to have a discussion with you guys about it. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in my book club, linked below once it's up, and I will talk to you later. Bye!